Kia ora, g'day, welcome back once again here with another Q&A. So this one is, I haven't got the person's handle, but he dropped this comment in one of the other Q&A videos that I did, or training video for selection. So anyway, the question here is, hey Joe man, how did you prepare for Happy Wanderer phase of Aussie SASR selection course? So apologies I haven't got your handle, but yeah, anyway, I'll do my best to answer. There's probably three key things that I can put it down to. First one is just get fit, be fit and capable. Second one is get used to training and being on your own. And third is get very good at navigation. So your land navigation, get really good at it so that you can get to the checkpoints that you need to get to in the right order or the right sequence, or based on the instructions that you're given from one of the directing staff at the checkpoint that you get to. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I think I pretty much put down those three things in my brief written comment to the person, but said, hey, listen, I'll take your question and I'll do a quick video on it. So get fit. I didn't change anything in the way that I trained for the New Zealand selection, really. Apart from the 3.2, which I then needed to put more time and effort into, and turns out I probably only put in just enough. I should have put in some more, but at least I did enough to pass. So get very fit, get very competent, comfortable under load, moving long distances or for long periods of time, extended periods of time anyway, with your pack. So that's the first thing. As you do that, the second part sort of goes hand in hand with the first one, in my opinion, in my experience, is to get used to being on your own, training alone, getting out and doing that stuff on your own for the most part. Yes, it's nice to have a training partner if you have that, and it's even better when you've got training partners that are bigger, fitter, faster, stronger than you are, because it constantly gives you something and someone to chase and to a point of reference and go, man, I want to try to catch that person. And that's cool. Like you know, if you have the opportunity and you have people like that are willing to train with you and or that are preparing for selection as well, that could probably only be a good thing. In my experience, for me, what worked for me is I spent the vast majority of my time, if not all of my time, in terms of training, my training sessions that I did on my own, with a pack on my own. I didn't have anybody else that I went pack marching with. My PT sessions within the platoon and the company, I was never coming first. I always was surrounded by people that were bigger, fitter, faster, stronger than I was. So I always had people to chase in that setting. But removing myself from that situation with regards to now I just need to get these reps in, get these kilometers in, get this time in under load myself on my own, without anybody to chase, without any encouragement or without any yelling from anybody to be told to hurry up. Just the need to drive myself. That was massively beneficial for me, and I think that would be helpful for anyone, because then you're in your own head, you're in your own space. What's driving you? You're getting to answer your own questions. Is this worth it? Is it worth the time, the sacrifice that you're looking to put in, that you feel like you're doing or committing to go and serve in a unit like that? And if you can answer those questions honestly on your own, without anybody else, without any other surrounding noise, then I think that certainly helps. So yeah, those two things work hand in hand: facing, talking, sorting out your own demons in your head. When I'm talking about talking to yourself, and being fit. The last part, obviously, or the first part, depending on how you look at it, is you want to be really good at navigation. So by the time this is for SASR, this question, so by the time I got to selection in Australia, I was super confident with my navigation. I felt really comfortable with a map and compass, protractor, notebook and pen. I felt like I knew where I was if I was to be dumped out in the middle of the bush somewhere and then told to find my way from this point to that point. So getting really comfortable and confident with that is critical for Happy Wanderer and for any selection course anywhere. So it's not in here but as a question, but I suppose tips that I would try to give with regards to with regards to Happy Wanderer specifically. you're not given how many at least in my time, we weren't told how many checkpoints as a minimum that we needed to hit. We weren't told how many kilometers as a minimum we needed to reach or make. So the tip is work your backside off from first light through to last light, and push. So don't become lazy and just think that you can coast. There is that temptation because you're on your own, and that's another great part that I loved about it. Like, you're not getting yelled at, you're not being observed as strictly as what you were when you were still with the group, and there's a whole bunch of directing staff around. Yes, you'll be observed when you get to the checkpoints. There may even be some directing staff out in the bush, set up their own little OP along likely routes that candidates would probably take in order to get to the next checkpoint, between checkpoints, if you know what I mean. So you do want to still be trying to do things as well and as correctly and as professionally as you can. So yeah, you don't want to get caught out being a blinking slob or a slack fella between the checkpoints out in the bush because you think nobody's watching you. You also don't want to just take your sweet time because you think, oh, this is great, I'm on my own. And especially when you don't know how far you have to cover. What I can say is that, because I still don't know how the minimum distance kilometers that they needed to cover during that Happy Wanderer phase, but what I can say is that drove me, because I didn't know. Man, I was pushing as well as I could from first light right through to last light. Sometimes slightly after, but not for me. Not once it was dark. Like, I was getting my head down and getting some rest, so that I could then get up and then push again as soon as the light started cracking through the canopy. So you don't want to. Why do I share that? So that's that first tip: work first light to last light. Second tip is, as tempting as it might be, I don't recommend that you move at nighttime. Not unless you're a ninja and you've got built-in night vision goggles in your eye sockets. But the risk to reward, risk of falling, snapping, breaking, twisting, spraining something really bad is not worth it, in my opinion. So use that daytime and work your backside off and get to where you need to get to as quick as you can, as professionally as you can, and then have a rest at night. Your body needs some rest, so take some rest when you can, because once you get to Lucky Dip, that's going to go out the window. So yeah, but don't coast too much with that. So those are probably a couple of tips there that will hopefully help. It wasn't in the question, but I thought I'd add those in because they popped into my head on the back of this. So yeah, hopefully that helps, man. Thanks for your question and for your time that you spent here, and same goes for anybody that might spend any time here. Hopefully that the question that the person has asked, it might be something that other people have thought about similarly, and yeah, hopefully my response helps in that regard. If there was a follow-up question to how did I prepare for Lucky Dip, I can tell you now I didn't prepare for Lucky Dip because I didn't even prepare specifically for Happy Wanderer, although there were probably elements of my training that would have complemented Happy Wanderer and Lucky Dip. So when you're doing the physical stuff, you're getting out on your own, all of that helps with Happy Wanderer. When I was doing company platoon PT or that sort of thing, or when I was on cycle in NZ and we've got group PT in there, that would have helped with regards to Happy Wanderer on the Australian selection and that sort of stuff. Going through the dunes in NZ to a degree helped with, again, Lucky Dip on the Australian selection, that sort of small team dynamic environment, carrying a heck of a lot of kit and equipment through the bush, and it was miserable. So I didn't go training to practice any of that. I carried a heavy pack, had my webbing, and from time to time I might have had a torsion bar that I could carry and move with. But outside of that, I never carried jerry cans, I never carried concertina wire, I never threw star pickets in my back or carried stretchers or anything like that. I just stuck to the basics and just put in some work. So anyway, hopefully that helps. As always, the message is the same. Any difficulties, challenges, hardships that you may be going through, man, keep turning up, keep staying in the fight, put one foot in front of the other, take one day at a time. Be kinder to yourself and know that it's okay to actually not be okay, and it's 100% okay to look for and ask for help if you need it. So, do what works for you in terms of trying to dig yourself out of that hole, and or reach out to somebody that might be able to help, sort of drag you out of that hole that you might be in. So yeah, I know it sucks, I know it's miserable, but I can also attest to the fact that those miserable and terrible times do not last forever. Things do and will and can get better, as long as you want it as well. They will get better, I promise you. So as always, go always a little further. Remember, who dares wins and who cares wins. And until the next video, there's a big mana wave coming from me to you, filled with my aroha, respect, appreciation, and gratitude for you all.